My new book, Pillars for Life, A Guide to Spiritual Ethics and Practice, is now out and available for you to read and purchase. You can check out our website, willowhealing.org, to find a link, or you can find it on Amazon. We look forward to getting your feedback, and if you love it, please leave a review and share with your friends. Now it's time for the show. Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine Cristani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I am joined by Rob Rene. So he is a former high-level athlete and a near-death survivor whose life was transformed after a near-fatal accident. With a deep passion for natural health, Rob has become an inspiring keynote speaker, herbalist, and molecular hydrogen researcher, sharing his unique insights on living a pain-free and vibrant life. As a frequency medicine specialist, he uses cutting-edge techniques to heal, while his investigative work exposes the hidden truths behind the mainstream medical system. So a big welcome to the show, Rob, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just the more I learn about you and the things that you're doing, I'm just excited to be here. I appreciate you having me on. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We have had a journey to get to this interview as well. So for listeners, and we were talking a little bit about it. So between time zone stuff's up, double bookings, my calendar system not working, Rob needing to reschedule, we have managed to finally connect today, and I am trusting it's
Yay!
perfect timing. Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. It was meant to happen today. So it's going to be
A
a lot of fun.
hundred
We're going to
percent.
hopefully impact a couple of people that they don't even know that they're going to be impacted until they listen to this amazing conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Exactly. So there's so much about what you do that I wouldn't unpack, but I guess through going through all those experiences in your background of your near-death survivor and also, your near-fatal accident, I'm assuming they're linked somehow, or maybe they're not. How did that then lead you into going more down natural health route and just becoming who you are today?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. It is a long one, but I'll try to make it short. So I started off as an athlete, as a young person. I loved just all sorts of athletics, but running became a passion of mine. It's just one of those things that I just was naturally gifted at, which was really fun. But one of the things I did when I was young was learn how to fuel my body appropriately. So it was like I learned how to eat well. And when, think about that, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was actually a really high level athlete, it was nutrition was super, super important. And most of my friends and all my competitors, they're eating hot dogs and, pizza and, just eating crap. And I'm fueling my body appropriately. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really excelled, because I was a distance runner, and so in order to fuel your body and be good at the end of a race, I had to have the right energy. And so that was something that I look back on now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm a faith-based Christian, and I'm like, I look back at that and say, man, God has been training me from the beginning, right? He taught me about nutrition when I was really young, and then I went off and did all these other crazy things, and then guess what? Bam, I'm back into that whole natural arena and field, and I'm just super excited about it. But I did have an interesting journey when I got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school, and I made the U.S. junior team, and I was on my way to be what I wanted to be, was a professional runner. And then I did get hit by a 4x4 truck when I was out running, and that had a dramatic effect on my life. I almost died that day. And but ever since then, when I did survive, I knew God had a plan for my life. I didn't know what it was. I was really devastated for a really long period of time, because for 20 years, that was my goal. Maybe it was 10 years, but for 10 years, that was my goal in life, was to be a professional runner. And to have that just wiped away in a second was really devastating. But then I did what the world told me to do. Right. I went and got a job, or, went and finished my college degree, and I got a great job at a big company, and I, got my 401k, and I got a house, and I married a wonderful woman, and we had, 3 children, and I got a house with a white picket fence, and had a dog, and did all the things the world tells you to do, right? And unbeknownst to me, I wasn't doing what I think is fulfilling me now, which was, and I didn't learn that until boom, I got hit what I call the second truck. So the second truck is the same truck that hit everybody, though. This was the pandemic, right? And
Mm.
that truck hit, just wiped out a lot of people's lives. And there's like respect that what they were doing before the pandemic and then what they were doing after is totally different. And my perspective happened. I was in professional sales. I was selling enterprise software, and I did it for decades, and it was something I was really good at. But then, I lost my sales job because I couldn't travel, and I was lived in a remote location in Oregon, so I couldn't. There was nothing for me to do in the local area. I had to travel in order to do my job. I'm like, oh, geez. So they downsized the organization. That was the first time in my life I'd actually had time to sit back and look what's going on in the world. And man, my life has transformed dramatically since that period of time. So it's been really a super fun experience this last 5 years, just learning about health and all natural health, and learning about energy, and learning about things like that with your body is just super exciting. So I couldn't be more stoked about what I'm learning and to be able to help other people. I mean, it's a really big passion of mine. I call myself a faith and health warrior. It's like I love my faith and I want to share it with people, but unbeknownst to them, as I really want to help them with their health. Right? If I can help them with their health, then maybe they'll have a conversation with me about faith. But man, there's so many people that are sick in this world, that are struggling with pain and struggling with fatigue and just struggling with their health in general. That, man, if I can help them, I would love to. Right? So I've been super passionate about let's get America, let's get the world healthy again. Right? So I love this whole Maha movement just because I'm so passionate about people's health. I really want to help make an impact on the world. And I think that's what God has been training me to do my entire life, is to be sitting here today having this conversation where I'm not scared to talk to people, and I'm comfortable talking about difficult topics like faith, and talk about topics like health, and just to help people get better and get well and learn how to do it in naturally and faithfully. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, which I love. I love so much of your journey, and I fully understand, like getting the truck literally took your dream away, right? And then that
Yes.
mourning period you have to go through. And it made me laugh when you said the white picket fence, because I was like, you fully fit the stereotype. Let's have a house with the white
Yeah,
picket fence. But I
exactly.
understand that too, Rob, because that's been me, especially like the last few months, and I've gone, I don't want this mortgage, I don't want this big house. Like I need
Right.
freedom, I need to be able to do all these other things, so we're putting things in place to make that happen. Whereas people were like, you're
Nice.
crazy, and but at the same time I'm like, but it's not your life, it's our life,
Yeah,
and that's the thing
it's
too. Yeah.
exactly. I love that you're thinking about that, just because it's so freeing to I mean, I've come have this amazing relationship right now with God that I didn't have before, right? And I really believe nothing, everything I own isn't mine. Really, it's all His. And so, why does it matter if I have this really cool house and this really amazing car and this really amazing this and really amazing that? None of it really matters, right? So at the end of the day, we're all going to die. We're all going to pass away. And so, I want to enjoy my life here on earth, and I want to make an impact. If I can impact other people and help them live a more impactful life, then I think I'm actually doing something in the world, rather than just sitting on the couch watching Netflix, right? You're literally not doing anything and helping anybody by doing that. And if you're unhealthy, you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like getting up off the
Yeah.
couch. You don't feel like doing other than Netflix and chill, because you just don't feel well. So, man, I want to get people to feel well, and then they're going to have the energy to actually go talk to their neighbor, go, play with their grandchildren, and just live life to the fullest. And so, that's why I'm having a blast. It's like all this material stuff really just doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to build a business, and building a business, I have to do stuff to bring revenue into the business, but it's not revenue for me. It's revenue so I can have a bigger impact, right? And so I'm having a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful how you phrase that because you still need to eat, you know. So it's like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
revenue, you know, but it's also the money and the finances and the revenue that's coming in is there feeding you to be soul aligned with God's mission that He's given you, so that then you can serve humanity how you're meant to be serving
Yeah,
humanity.
because
So
if I'm going to make a
yeah.
big impact, I need to have, I need to have funds to make a big impact. If I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to make $0, what kind of impact am I going to have on this world? I might be able to have a one-on-one conversation with one person, but that's not the impact I believe He's has me on this earth for. I think He's built me to be able to communicate with people like yourself and be able to share my message and be able to share the hope that you can get well. And when you get well, guess what? You can have a much more fulfilling life while you're here on earth, right? Because we all expire at some point. So why don't we really enjoy what we've got and then make a difference while we're here? So I'm having fun
And
trying to do that.
yeah, and I think that's such an important point that you bring up, Rob. Like we're all heading to the same end point, but how you live
Right.
each day is what would determine that you get up in the morning or you don't get up in the morning, right? Like if you're not excited jumping out of bed and working on your passion or your purpose or why you're here to share this with the world, you're not doing the right thing. If you hit the
Right.
snooze alarm again and again and again, that's a sign that you probably aren't aligned to where your soul needs to be.
I do not disagree. Do not disagree. Yeah, yeah. We need to find a passion. You need to and be excited about it. And man, there's a lot of people. I really feel bad for them because you look at just a classic picture of it back in the '60s and in the beach, and the people are fit and young, and they're now you look at one and people at the beach and they're obese, right? And it's just a really big problem. And it's not just obesity. It's just and it's not their fault a lot of times either because our food is compromised in a really bad way. Our water is compromised, our air is compromised, and it's really really difficult in our society to live well and to eat well. And in order for us to be healthy, we need to start bringing in the nutrients that God put on this earth for us to have. And man, if you go out and eat ultra processed foods morning, afternoon, and evening, your body's just not going to get the right nutrients. And then your body's going to get inflamed and you're going to be miserable and you're going to feel bad and you're going to hit that snooze button and hit that snooze button because you just don't have the energy to live well. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I've got just a secret to life that I can give to you that, 5 of the things I love to teach people are just 100% free. It's like, everybody can do these things. They're not that. It's not
Go
rocket
in the
science to
sun.
start transforming, right? Yes, exactly. The sun is just vitamin D is like so. In fact, what's hilarious is vitamin D is so important to me. That's kind of what started my journey down this health path. Is I saw this doctor during the pandemic that was getting vilified for talking about vitamin D, and they were like suing him for billions of dollars. The government. I'm like, holy moly, this guy must be a really bad dude, right? And then so I started researching it, and I'm like, well, hold on, this guy is not a bad guy. And what's he talking about? He's talking about okay, vitamin D. Well, geez, I know from my running days that vitamin D is just a natural thing you get from the sun. So that's not bad for you. And then I realized that oh my gosh, he's not bad. It's like, then why are they vilifying him? Then when I started researching why they're vilifying him, it was because he was trying to help people with a natural solution, and they had nefarious reasons, and so that got me down this rabbit hole of researching the whole what I call medical cartel. Right? It's just this big pharma machine that just is incredible. Right? It's like so powerful that they own the media, they own so many things, and
Fact
I
checkers. I'm
had no
sure
clue.
you got fact checked, Rob. I'm sure you got
Oh
fact
my
checked.
gosh,
I got
yeah, oh,
fact
of course.
checked.
Yeah, every time I talk to them about the reality, it's like, oh my gosh, you can't say that on Facebook, you can't say that on YouTube, you can't, you can't, you're being ostracized. So I was like, hey, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm gonna be me and tell me, and yeah, so yeah, I've been shut off of all
No.
the different media platforms for trying to tell the truth, right? But I'm so excited that I can actually tell the truth now, and it's a little bit more acceptable on most platforms. But it's been a journey.
Well, I just think, if you get banned, it's a sign. I got banned off Facebook. I can't go back on. So I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
right.
fine.
Yeah,
So be it. It was funny because I'd rejoined Instagram and I was thinking about doing Facebook too. And then the universe basically said, no, you're done with that because I uploaded my picture and then I got banned. And I'm like, okay, clearly they don't want me and that's fine. But then I laughed because it's still owned by the same people that own Instagram.
right.
So, but
Exactly.
it's just a game and it's just and I so agree with what you were saying about when you start to look into the medical system, they don't aim to get you healthy like the majority. They don't aim to get you healthy. They want you to stay in the system. And it's not
Yeah.
always the doctor's faults or things like that because
No, it's not.
they're sharing what they've been taught, but what they've been
Right.
taught was
That
corrupted many,
that's
many years
that's
ago.
that's the key. Yeah, that's the key because most there's a lot of people that have great hearts, right, and that are really smart and that have been trained as doctors and nurses and all the people that are part of the system, but they've just been trained in a really methodical way where they think they're teaching what is good, right, and what is right, and when they don't realize how nefarious that was back in the 1900s when our medical schools were really taken over. And so it's just so interesting to me that there's so many people that are unaware of that, but they have done a great job of hiding it, right? I'll give them that, and they're great at communicating their story. And that's one of the things that made me so mad when I was waking up to this reality. Was it was just like, I've been deceived, 50 years of my life. That really pissed me off. I'm like, how? I mean, we live in the United States of America, at least I do, right? It's like this is like the most free country, and we're supposed to have the best journalism. We're supposed to have the most free information, and I was like, man, we're controlled worse than North Korea, right? It's like how is that possible? So anyway, I got really mad for a while, and then okay, then I got how do I make a difference, and how do I help people? Instead of being mad at the
Yeah.
world and mad at the system and mad at all these medical cartel people and the
Constructs.
big pharma, I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, I have to go make a difference in the world, and so I'm gonna just double down on my health. I'm gonna double down on health in general. And then I started reading the Bible every day, and it's like, oh my gosh, I had just had a big transformation from a faith perspective, and those two are just, to me, they're intertwined, right? My health and my faith are one and the same. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
been a fun
And
journey.
yeah, and I feel like, I still remember when I was at university studying to be speech language pathologist, so allied health. It was like applied science degree. And we had this
Ah,
lecturer and I still remember to this day, I think it was my second or third year, I can't remember, but I remember this lecturer saying the Western medicine medical system is designed to just treat the symptom, whereas Eastern medicine look for the cause to find what's happening underneath. And I still
yeah,
like from like such a young age, I was so blessed to A, tune into that and B, remember it because then I
yeah.
started questioning the medical system. And for me, my turning point to natural health was I had this foot cramp and my foot, like I'd wake up in the middle of the night, my foot was like that. It just kept
Oh
ceasing.
yeah, ouch,
And so
those hurt.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I went to the doctor and I said, this is what's going on. I'm not sure what's happening here. So I was like in my early 20s and he's prescribing me anti arthritis drugs, but just giving me sample drugs and then sent me for an x ray. And I rock up because at that point wasn't keen enough to question just yet. And I'm getting ready to get my foot x-rayed. And I said, I'm having muscle spasms. Shouldn't I be having an ultrasound? And she's like, yes, you should, but let's just get this done. So I just, something in me said, I'm not taking these drugs. And then I went and saw my acupuncturist a few days later. And he said, why didn't you call me? And he puts in one needle and my whole foot releases. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is incredible. But then
Yeah.
I was at, not shortly after that, I was at this biomedical pediatrician conference because I was one of these
Okay.
people that like to learn about everything. And I was
I
curious
like
about
it.
how diet impacted my caseload. And most of my caseload was children with autism. And so I was like, okay, let's go and learn. And so this pediatrician saying, here are common deficiencies in children and how they show up. And he gets to magnesium, Rob. And I had every single symptom on the list as a magnesium
I'll bet.
deficiency. And I'm like,
I'll bet.
oh my
That's why they
goodness,
cramp,
which is
right?
what
That's what
exactly, exactly.
the
And I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there going, oh my goodness. Like, and I messaged my ex-husband at the time and I said, look at this. I took a screenshot and I sent it to him. And he's like, that is you. And I was like, I know. So
Yeah.
so then I'm like, I'll just go buy the common supplements from the grocery store or whatever. And I started taking this magnesium and it was making me really sick. And I was like, okay, maybe I need a naturopath. And then sure enough, because the universe likes to, or God likes to put things in front of you, this person's name kept coming up in my feed. And I was like, okay, I'm going to book in with him. And I walk in and I said to him, he goes, what brings you here today? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've got a magnesium deficiency. And he's like, oh, most people think that, but it's mast. And so he's doing all this like kinesiology testing on me. And we finished the session. He goes, you are the most magnesium deficient person I have ever met. You need to take this, twice a day, like these ionic supplements, twice a day for 2 weeks, like for a week, and come back. And so I came back after a week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like all these things change. He's like, yeah. He goes, all right, let's see what
That's
else is going
awesome.
on now. But
There
we
you
just had
go.
to get to
That's
that. And,
so
and
cool.
if I hadn't been that inquiry, like if I hadn't started questioning it, I probably would have still
Yeah.
been on those sample
Yeah.
anti-arthritis drugs, which I did not need to
Yeah.
be on. And it
Correct.
was then that I started to look further into, all right, what's in food? And then you start to see all the numbers in food, and it's like, oh my goodness. And I remember cleaning out our house, like cleaning all the chemicals out. And my mum's like came over and she's like, what do you want to do with those? I said, I'm getting rid of them. I don't want them. And she goes, I'll take them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, but that's why
Oh
I'm
no,
getting
you're
rid of
feeding
them.
feeding all this poison to my mom. We were
But
doing
then
the same thing. I told my
yeah,
wife, I'm like,
yeah,
"What are we gonna do with all that?" She's like, "Well, we can't give it to anybody because it's horrible for you."
no,
So we like threw it all out. And it's like, oh my
exactly.
gosh, that's so much money just going down the toilet. But it's like, but you have to do it. It's so important. I'm so glad you did that.
Yeah.
Fun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And if anyone's feeling overwhelmed when they start to look at it all, I found just picking one thing to focus on at a time
yeah,
was really helpful.
yeah,
So, like, maybe you want to
yeah.
swap out your cleaners first, or maybe you want to swap out, look at for all the additives and things and start to swap out your pantry because then it doesn't feel like such a big hit. But the funny thing is, I don't know about you, Rob, but we wash with bicarbonate vinegar. And it's so much cheaper than actually buying laundry detergent or anything else
Yeah.
because we were trying to buy a natural one, but we were still finding like we were getting irritated because they put like fragrances and things and all those fun stuff. And then when you go back to these simple things that, our grandparents used or like
Right,
years
with
ago,
the
you
washing
realize,
board,
huh,
right? And
I'm not
the
that
simple
extreme. I have
chemicals.
my washing machine.
I meant the simple chemicals that they use with the washing board, right? It
Exactly.
wasn't like chemicals, it was
Yeah,
like soap, right? It was like super simple stuff. I love it. Yeah, I'm not going
exactly.
back there either. Uh, there's certain things,
Exactly.
there's a
So,
limit, right?
yes. So, how did this then pull you, like going through this journey of unpacking things? How did that then pull you to being a frequency medicine specialist?
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what's so
this.
fun is 'cause when the pandemic started and I was starting to saying, "How am I gonna help my family survive this, thing that's so scary," right? Everyone's freaking out about COVID, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go back to my nutrition." I knew as a young athlete, right, how important nutrition was, so I was gonna go create supplements, and that was my initial thought, right? I'm gonna go find these natural things. I'm gonna help make sure my family is safe by using these natural ingredients. And then while I was doing that, what the formulator I was working with to create some solutions, he's like, "Have you ever heard of quantum energy?" And I'm like, "Quantum what?" So I'm like, "No." I was like, "What does that mean?" I said, "I know quantum computing because I was in the technology field when I was in sales for many years, and but I'd never heard of quantum energy." And he goes, I want to introduce you to this gentleman. So he introduced me to this incredible scientist and man who's been working on quantum energy and subtle energy. It's also known as, for decades. And when he told me what he had created, I thought he was nuts. I little did. I was
Of
like, come
course.
on. Literally, it's like, that can't work. I was like, literally, he had these little patches, and he would spray a microscopic crystalline structure on them, and then he would program those crystalline structures with frequencies and information. And I was like, and then he it said, what do you do with it? And he's like, you put it on your body. It's like, okay, I'm putting a sticker on my body. I said, does it have medicine that's going to go inside and help me? And he's like, no, there's no medicine. I'm like, this is crazy. That's not going to help me, right? So I had no idea about the human body. I had no idea that I need the human body from a physical perspective. But then I started doing research on energy and how our body is made up of energy, and even down to the cellular level, our cells interact via vibrations, and those vibrations give off, guess what? A frequency. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, frequency sounds really scary and intimidating. What is a frequency? And then I started learning that frequencies are everywhere and everything, right? Colors of frequency, sounds of frequency. We use cell phones every day. It like uses frequencies. Our radios of frequency or uses frequencies, right? So I'm like, okay, then frequencies aren't weird, and our bodies are made up of energy. Oh, and even our bodies actually interact with frequencies. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy isn't crazy. so so then let me understand what it is that you're doing. And so he literally infuses those little crystalline structures with different frequencies for different problems like allergies and pain and inflammation and other things. And then I was like, okay, well, let's see if this is real. I tried it. I'm like, maybe, right? Like, when I wasn't in a lot of pain, it was a pain product he'd given us first, and we shared it with our community. My brother and I did, and it really helped people, like in a dramatic way. They're like, I haven't. One of this lady came to us at a conference, and she's been dealing cards at a casino for decades, and for the last 10 years, she couldn't lift up her arm. She literally could not lift because she'd been doing this motion so long
Almost
that
like
it just
tennis elbow. Yeah.
yeah, it was just like chronic pain. And she couldn't move her thing. She used one of our patches. She came back an hour later. She said, guess what? I was like, what? She goes, she lifted her arm up and she's just like wide eyed and just like so excited. So I was like, yeah, you can move your arm. She's like, I haven't been able to do that for 10 years. I'm like, what? she she came back the next day and she slept with the product. She says, I slept better than I have in forever because I'm always in pain. And I slept amazing last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, this product is incredible. So we ended up packaging it together, and we created a company called QE Strong for Quantum Energy Strong, and we've been selling those patches for the last 3 years, and that's been really really fun. So I've been having a blast learning about frequencies and how they help people and why they help people, and just that whole world of subtle energy. I did a bunch of research on Dr. Emoto, right? And all of his water and rice
Yeah.
studies. It's like
There's
so
another
fascinating.
one. There's another lady who started to do all that water work and replicating it as well. It's called the Living Water. It'll come
Neat.
to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like it.
and
I like it. Yeah, I'll have to get that
yeah,
because I just love that stuff. Because when I first started researching, I'm like, come on, I just came out with such a pessimistic attitude because I didn't believe it. Right, I didn't understand these things, and then once you do the research and you start finding out these things, and they find out how real they are, you're like, wow, your mind starts opening up. And and then with my relationship with God, I'm like, my gosh, God created this world so incredibly amazing that people still haven't figured out how it works, right? Like the quantum field is still unknown, right? They can't measure it. They know it's there because they know there's things that happen to people, and they know that they can, people can communicate in a different like way that they can't understand. And it's just so fun and fascinating because it's like, my gosh, there's so many things we still don't know, and we're so advanced as human beings, and we still haven't figured it out. Right? So it's super super fun.
because it's like we think we're so advanced, but then when you start to learn about some ancient technologies which have disappeared, that you realize we're really not
Yeah.
advanced.
Well, and I think some
And
of
a lot
those
of
things
it's
have
with,
been put under
yes,
a rug and hidden from us
ex-
for a long time because they don't want us to figure them
exactly.
out. You know?
Exactly. But, but even for me, like I work with frequencies a lot, and we have a Rife machine. So we work with frequencies in
Awesome.
that regard. So, if
Yeah.
anyone's
Yeah.
curious about Rife has been around for like since the early 1900s. It's just,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, and it measures your frequency in your body and it puts the frequencies you need back in. And because we are energetic beings, and if anyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
no, we're not, I like teach kids to put their hands together like that and then just hold it a little bit open. And then you can actually start to feel your field. Like you can actually start to feel the energy field around you. And then we play with
Right.
it and we see how big we can make it. And the kids are so receptive to it. Adults, not as much. But I was like, but it's so
Exactly,
fun.
because
Like,
adults
just
just have
try.
this mental attitude that
Yeah.
it can't work and it's not there, and but it's proven, right, that we have this filled in our hearts are like the biggest organ, right? And it's like our hearts have this filled. It's like a 6 to 8 feet filled of energy just with our heart, right? It's like so incredibly amazing that once you start learning that and you understand that and you're like, oh my gosh, now I understand when I walk in a room and this really negative person is just like you're really a downer and you can feel the negativity in this room. The energy just goes, it's just like this stuff is real, right? It's not woo woo. It's not fake. It's just, it's there. And we just need to try to understand it better. And then my gosh, we can
Yeah.
create products like we've created that help people in a really dramatic way without drugs. Right. So it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, and really beautiful way to do it. And, if anyone's like, oh, this is all science stuff, they've actually proven, even like in the business world, if you surround yourself by people who are like higher than you, that you want to aspire to, you're more likely to perform better than sitting around with people who don't want to aspire to anything, because who your energy is around most of the time will impact like where you vibrate at and where your frequency sits. So, and it's like the people negative, they actually reduce your like ability like by 30%, I think they said. So
It's
that's a
pretty dramatic.
lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. This is why you have to be really conscious about who you share your energy space with. Because, like you said, when you walk into the negative room, you do feel like, ugh, what is the vibe? And anyone listening, I guarantee you've had an experience like that where you've walked in and been like, ugh, or you can just feel people looking at you or talking about you, and you're like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Versus when
Yeah.
you walk into a room and it's really high energy and really happy, like, oh, I want to stay here, like this is fun,
Yeah, and
this is
people are
exciting.
smiling, they're happy to meet
Exactly.
you, and it's just like you can feel that real you literally can, and once you start realizing that, then it's really fun to recognize that as you're even walking through the aisle at the grocery store, right? You can just start thinking about that and looking at that when you're interacting with people. It's like, wow, that's amazing. If you give off this positive vibe too, people like receive that too, and so it's really fun to play around and experiment with that. So I like it.
Exactly. And as we start to finish our time together, Rob, I feel like there's many rabbit holes we could go down, but as we
Yeah,
start to finish our time together, I asked the guests that come on, if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
gosh, that's such a great question. So I would there's three areas that I'm super passionate about right now, and it's pain because I have a podcast called I Am Pain Free, right? So I'm really trying to help people naturally and faithfully relieve pain. So that would be one. But then I'm going to say three because it's too important. And fatigue and energy problems are huge, and people are just so strung out, just not feeling well and exhausted. But then there's also this big C word, right? The big that is so pervasive, and then with what happened with COVID and with the shots, that the C word is just going through the roof, and people are. I believe that there's solutions out there that we just are not understanding, and or people are hiding them, and or they're just not explaining well. And I think that we could solve those. So I'd probably say that last word, right, is the big cancer thing. If we could help people with that, it's going to transform people's lives in a really dramatic way. Because I've had a number of people in my life that have I've lost them, and friends and family members who've lost members to it, and it's just such a devastating prognosis, right? When you get it, it's like you really, people get introspective instead of being that vibrant person they are. They're like, oh my gosh, I have this really bad thing inside me and I can't control it, and I'm a bad person, and it just, you feel bad, and it just is bad, 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 right? And if we can just transform people, and I'm literally writing a book about praying for healing, because I want to be able to let people know that you can have a conversation with God, and He can literally heal. Like you mentioned, you had one of your guests on who speaks over people and
I
have
will hook you up.
healed people,
Yeah, I'm going
right?
to hook you up with Beatty. You guys are going to have a great conversation.
That
I'm going to
would
hook you
be
guys up.
amazing, right? Because it's just so
Yeah.
incredibly cool that you can literally speak over someone, and they can be healed, and that's just transformative. And if I can get people to have that attitude that, hey, I can get better, and I'm not going to just let this thing take me away, and I'm going to get well. And you have this attitude, your mind is so powerful and so important, and then you start feeding your body with the right nutrients it needs, then we can make a really, really big difference in a lot of people's lives if we're really just passionate about that. So I think you'll see the things I'm going to be working on in the future are going to be very relevant to that topic. So that's why I'll end up on the big C word. So if we could heal
How
cancer,
exciting.
that would be an amazing thing. Sorry for the long-winded
Well,
answer, but
no, that's everyone has their own journey with that question, and I love it. And so, if people want to connect with you, Rob, how can they find you?
yeah, so I built this company called Exodus Strong. It's been really fun. I actually took the seven best biblical ingredients I could find from the Bible, and then I ended up getting introduced to this incredible practitioner who has this molecular hydrogen blend that is really transformative for people. So we took those seven best ingredients with his molecular hydrogen blend and created a product called Exodus. And Exodus is just a really transformative health solution for people. And we include a prayer guide that goes with the product. And we include a community that goes along with the product, because we want to help you get well. And that product is amazing. So Exodus Strong is the name of my brand and name of my company. That is the best way to get a hold of me. And I'm Rob Rene on a lot of the social media platforms. So that's
Beautiful.
the
And I'll
best way.
make sure to put all of those details in the show notes. So if anyone wants to find you, Rob, they can. But thank you so
Awesome.
much for being on the show. This has
What
been
a
a
pleasure.
delight.
Yes, you're
Thank
an
you.
amazing person. Thank you for sharing the love to everybody, and helping them understand what you're doing. And just I love the fact that you're continuing to do what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob, and appreciate what you're doing and finding new ways to bring God's word to health, and just sharing the magic that life is, really.
Yeah, amen. And I forgot to tell one of the most important parts about my company. Our mission is to get 1 million new people to read the word through their health, right? So I'm helping them with this amazing product and supplement, and it's helping them. And guess what? We include a prayer guide that goes with it. So if you're so inclined, you can read it, and you read it with your eyes, and you hear yourself read it, and you use your mouth to declare it. There's power in the tongue, as the Bible tells us. And if you use those combined senses, in addition to the supplement, that mind body spirit connection works. And so I really passionate about helping people understand that it's not just the inside with the nutrients you take, right? Your mind is very, very important, and your spirit is very important. And when you combine all three of those together, you can get well. So that's a passion of mine.
100%. Well, awesome, Rob. Thank you again. Been a powerful
Hey, you bet.
conversation.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.